Most of the diseases of woody ornamentals that we deal with year in and year out start in the springtime and then get more and more severe as the season goes on. But there are some exceptions to that, and one of them is called oak leaf blister. And that's what we have here on this oak. Oak leaf blister is caused by a fungus called Taphrina, and it's dormant on the tree most of the time. In fact, it's dormant as a spore stage on the buds during the winter. And then in the springtime, as the new leaves come out, the spores become active and they infect the new leaf tissue as the leaves expand. And so then you get these blister-like spots on the surface of the leaf. And this is not a three-dimensional blister. What happens is, as the fungus invades the leaf tissue, it stimulates the cells to divide more often than they should. And so you have a few more cells there than are normally there. And it just causes the leaf to kind of crinkle up a little bit. It's not a three-dimensional blister like you would get on your hand with a liquid in it. It's actually two-dimensional, and if you turn the blister over, you can see it buckles in on this side and buckles out on the upper side. But from the side view, it looks like a blister, and that's where it gets its name. Now, this particular fungus does not cause premature defoliation, and it does not cause a branch dieback on the tree. So in general, we don't recommend that you do anything for this particular disease. However, if you're dealing with plants in the landscape, and especially if you're taking care of plants at somebody's yard, they'll be very curious about this disease because it can be quite a bit of blistering on the surface of the leaf. And so the main thing you'd probably want to do is just to be able to diagnose it. Now, later in the season, the fungus will form spores directly on the surface of this blister, and the blistered area will become kind of a buff white in coloration. And then those spores that are formed will blow around in the canopy of the tree and stay dormant until next spring. The blistered area that remains after the spores are gone then becomes brown, and you get these small brown dead areas right where you can see the blistered area right now. And so it's not a major disease, but it is something that you should be able to diagnose. Now, one thing you don't want to confuse this with is a similar symptom that's caused by a mite. And I have a sample here on a different type of oak that has the symptom that's being caused by a mite. Now, this is also a blister-like symptom. However, if you could feel it, you would feel that this blister is kind of harder in texture. It's rougher in texture than the oak leaf blister. The oak leaf blister, when you press it, it's not much different in texture than the rest of the leaf. But this is kind of a harder tissue. But it's not a three-dimensional blister. On these that are so yellowish green, these are kind of blistered downward, but there are some others that are blistered upward. And if you turn them over, they look a little bit fuzzy on the inside. But the main difference in telling this from oak leaf blister is the fact that these are kind of a harder, firmer texture than the oak leaf blister fungus.